Hello, happy Friday. Hey, as you're tuning in, say hello. As you're popping in live, let me know you're here on the comments. As you're tuning in on the replay, if you clicked on the video here in the group, welcome. We're going to talk today about how chronic stress can affect your physical body, how chronic stress can affect your mental state. So as you're popping in, say hello. Hi, Casey. Say hello. How's everybody doing? What's going on with your weekend today? Today's St. Patrick's Day, as we're filming this today. Are you wearing green? If not, you might get pinched. What's up, Kathleen? I see you all tuning in. Say hello. Hope you're all feeling good. Talking about chronic stress today. So, are you stressed? What's stressing you in your world? For sure, we all talk about stress. We all experience stress, for sure. So we're going to talk about how it affects us, both physically and mentally. We're going to talk about what we can do to manage it. And we'll share some things about, what your tips and tricks are for yourself that helps you manage your stress, because it's it's not understood as well as we all need it to be. And it plays a huge impact on our physical well-being as well as our mental well-being. And it is something that we don't consider when it comes to our overall health. What's up, Lisa? What's up, Holly? I see you all tuning in. Today is the first day of spring break for my children. So I apologize if any of them come running in and chat with me, but they've done that before, certainly, on these lives. Hey, Debbie, what's up? How's everybody feeling? What stresses you out? Put in the comments. What stresses you out? I could go on and on about what stresses me out. What stresses me out? My kids. Why is that the first thing? My kids obviously stress me out at times. Challenges I put on myself stress me out. People at the gym sometimes stress me out. I know a lot of you from the gym, so don't take that as an insult. I certainly have things that stress me out at the gym, but going to teach classes are the last thing that stress me out. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Nancy. Those two take my classes all the time. What else? What stresses you out? So if you're just joining, we're talking about stress today. What stresses you out? I want to see it in the comments. Let me know. What are the biggest stressors in your life? Is it physical? Are you stressed that a bear is going to come and eat you? Are you stressed that you have to run for your life? Those are physical stresses. What stresses you out are likely psychological stresses, something that's happening in your world that is a mental stress. Did you know that your body perceives it in the same way? Your body will perceive it as if all of a sudden you see something across the street and you're like, oh crap, I gotta go run and save that child that's about to fall in the pond. That's a physical stress. Your body is gonna respond with a big cascade of hormonal changes that gives you a burst of energy that allows you to go and save that child that's about to fall into a lake or a pond. I have a pond just over yonder. And that, hypothetical situation just popped into my head. Hi, Brandy. So your body perceives it in the same way. So your body's going to perceive that hormonal shift and that hormonal change. And no matter if it's a physical stress or a mental stress or psychological stress. So if I sit here and I start to think about all the shit I have to do before I go on vacation in 3 days, and I start to make lists, and I start to think about how long it's going to take, and then all the things that I have to do to be prepared for this vacation, my body's going to start to feel the stress. I'm going to start to feel a little bit of a heart rate kick. I might feel my breathing start to accelerate. I might start to feel all of these different things because I'm still perceiving that same stress. Now, there's a difference between acute stress and chronic stress. How come nobody has said what stresses them out? I want to see it in the comments, guys. Come on. I'm sitting here telling you what stresses me out. What stresses you out? And did you know, talking about your stress alleviates stress? Do you ever go to a therapist to talk about your stress? I do. I'm not ashamed to admit that I see a therapist. We all need therapy. Anyways, so there's a difference between acute stress and chronic stress. Acute stress is that one moment in time where you perceive some sort of stress and your body responds to it. Chronic stress is when you consistently feel that overwhelming sense of stress, overwhelming demand on something, overwhelming demand on your time, your energy, your mental capacity, overwhelming demand on yourself, that leads to chronic stress, okay? Now I'm going to talk to you about what happens to your brain and then what happens to your physical body when you are under this chronic stress. Now, chronic stress is one of those things that you can't control. You will likely have stress in your life every time, every day. You'll always have some kind of stress, but the response that you create to it is the thing that you can control. And that has been shown to actually reduce the levels of hormones that change in your body with chronic stress. Okay, so let's talk about it. So when it comes to stress, regardless if it's chronic or acute, your body is going to perceive this stressful situation and something in your brain is activated. It's called the HPA axis, which is the hypopituitary, I think, or something. I forget the name of it. So I have a degree in pharmacology, so I know a lot about the brain, but this is digging back into my like mental capacity of like my brain from a while ago, like 10 years ago, 13 years ago. And so your body and your brain will sense stress, and it's going to activate this HPA axis within the brain that sends a signal down to your adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys. And that signal to the adrenal glands are going to release cortisol, which is your stress hormone, epinephrine, which is adrenaline, and norepinephrine. So these are these stress hormones that gives your body the signal to fight. And it activates your sympathetic nervous system, which will increase your heart rate, increase your blood pressure, increase all these things that you need to do eventually be physically active. And that's what response, evolutionary speaking, to stress would normally be. Like, oh crap, I gotta run, there's somebody chasing me. So your body has to be physically ready for it, but it's still chronic stress is gonna respond the same way. Over chronic time with increased cortisol throughout your body, so when that cortisol is consistently circulating throughout your brain, how come again nobody has posted what stresses them out? Y'all are stressing me out. Put in the comments. Did I miss it? No, I didn't. Put in the comments. What stresses you out, y'all? You stress me out right now. Hi, Pam. I'm just joking. Okay? So here's what happens. After that, so your HPA is activated, your cortisol is streaming through the bloodstream, and then now chronically it's going to start to act upon the amygdala. The amygdala is a section in your brain that is responsible for fear, responsible for anxiety, lots of different other fear-based emotions. And it actually will, when it's working properly, it actually inhibits, no, that's the hippocampus. No, excuse me. Your amygdala will start to increase. And so your amygdala connections will increase. So that is going to increase this. Hi, Peg. Somebody put it in the comments what stresses you out. Your amygdala is going to have increased connections. And when your amygdala has increased connections, that's going to increase and compound your stress. Okay, so your brain is responding to this stress by increasing more stress. Okay, and then something else happens in your brain. It actually decreases your hippocampal connections. And in your hippocampus actually inhibits the part of your brain that responds to stress. And so when this hippocampus is no longer functioning properly, the inhibition of the HPA is no longer there. So it's this big loop of decreased activity of your hippocampus and increased activity of your HPA, which means chronic loop of increasing stress. Okay? Hi, Barb. So that means you've got lots of other things happening. So when you do have chronic stress, your brain actually decreases in size. So your brain will shorten and decrease in size. Your neuronal connections start to decrease. The prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain that distinguishes us from other animals, decreases. So that prefrontal cortex is all with working memory, social ability, is all with decision making, all of these things that make us like this higher level being that sets us apart from animals. The prefrontal cortex starts to shorten and starts to decrease. Okay, so chronic stress is going to impact your brain in lots of different ways that we don't even appreciate in its entirety, but we don't often think about how detrimental stress is. It's like, oh, we're just stressed out. But you are actually changing your brain in not a good way, in a bad way. So that's what it does to your brain. So It not only does this to your brain, it does things to your physical body. So when your adrenal glands will release cortisone, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, it's going to change your heart rate. It's going to change your blood pressure. Chronic elevation of your heart rate, chronic elevation of your blood pressure, of course, leads to hypertension. Chronic elevation of all these stress hormones leads to a propensity of cardiovascular disease. How come nobody has written in the comments what stresses you out? Whoever writes down what stresses you out in the comments first, and I see it first, I'm gonna give you something. I don't know what though. I'm just kind of thinking off the fly. What should I give you? Okay, so lots of things happen. So we talk about increased risk for cardiovascular disease. We talk about increased risk for hypertension. We talk about risk for heart attacks. We talk about risk for stroke. All of these things because you are chronically stressed. Chronically stressed are doing these things physically, putting you in danger for all of these life-threatening conditions. Did you know that? Did you appreciate that? Did you understand that? And is that more motivation to help you control your stress? There's more. But wait, there's more, and it's not all gloom and doom. We can talk about ways to definitely monitor and manage our stress. But let's talk about what happens to our digestive system, because our brain is our central nervous system. It is believed that our gut is our secondary nervous system. Our gut has this enteric nervous system that responds to lots of hormones and responds negatively to stress. Now, you often know that when you get nervous and you get stressed, you get butterflies. That is your enteric nervous system activated, and that is it is working at overdrive. And as a consequence, your gut biome is going to start to suffer. If your gut biome is suffering, you lose serotonin ability. So you produce 90% or over half of your serotonin neurotransmitters in your gut. Your serotonin is your happy neurotransmitter. Without your gut properly functioning, you can go down the road of depression. You can go down the road of anxiety, all because you're chronically stressed. You can also be at risk for IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome. So your enteric nervous system is stimulated through chronic stress. It changes the way that your body digests foods, and your body doesn't effectively digest foods, and some foods will certainly flare up in other ways, in more ways than one, and you might find that you have an interaction with foods that you don't typically do because you are chronically stressed. Right. It also can change your immune system. So chronic stress can change how well your immune system functions. Your immune system is responsible, obviously, for taking care of all of the germs and the things that are invading your body. It has to be on 100% all the time. Otherwise, you are going to be overwhelmed with all of these pathogens, antigens, all of these things that certainly do change your ability to fight oncoming threats. Cytokines are something that happens when you change your immune system through chronic stress. These cytokines are emitted, and your immune system gets depressed. Chronic stress can lead to more diseases, more colds, flus, those types of things. So all of these things. What else? There's two more things I want to tell you. Chronic stress can lead to longevity. So there's been lots of studies that that have researched and trying to understand whether or not chronic stress can influence telomeres in your genes. Now, everybody did biology in high school, so I need to find a way to make sure I say this so we can understand. We have genes in every single cell. That is the genetic code that makes you who you are, makes you different, unique, the most unique person on earth, because no one else is like you, because of your genes. At the end of your chromosomes, where all of your genes are stored and coiled up into little tightly wound packages and ropes, there are these little plugs that are at the very end of the chromosome. And it is believed that every single time the cell replicates, that telomere gets shorter and shorter, to a point where if that telomere gets entirely cut off, that cell can no longer replicate, and that cell is destined to die. Okay? Chronic stress cuts off those telomeres more frequently than someone that doesn't have chronic stress. It's a big step. It's a big association that chronic stress can and might decrease your longevity. On that idea of just making your telomeres shorter and shorter and shorter throughout your whole body. So, chronic stress has lots to do with acne, hair loss, sexual dysfunction, muscle tension, all of these things, chronic stress. I've talked to you for 15 minutes about what chronic stress does. But what do you know that chronic stress does to you? And nobody has written in the damn comments what stresses you out. Did you not hear me ask you to write that in the comments? Y'all are stressing me out. Okay, so what does that mean for you? All of these things, I told you, all of these things that chronic stress does to you. All these negative things that chronic stress. No one wants to be stressed, but unfortunately we live in a society, we live in a world that you're always going to be stressed about something. Stressed about whether or not you can get the right food on the plate, you can make your ends meet, stress when something happens in your family, stress when life events happen, like the big life events that are not good life events. Stress happens, we know that. We certainly do know that. So what do you do to de-stress? What do you guys do? The biggest thing that has been shown to reduce stress, we're talking biological stress. Chronic cortisol levels start to go down. There are two things, the biggest things that you can do that will decrease chronic stress. Number one is exercise. Doesn't matter what kind. Exercise, strength training, cardiovascular training, walking, moving your body, some kind of exercise has been shown to lower chronic levels of stress and cortisol in your body. Okay? Number two is meditate. Simply sitting and being with your thoughts, listening to your breath, slowing your mind, and activating the opposing nervous system in your body, the parasympathetic nervous system of your body. Fight or flight is sympathetic. The ones that increase stress, increase cortisol, that gets you ready to fight or fly. The opposite is the parasympathetic nervous system that calms you down. Meditation has been shown to activate parasympathetic nervous system. So what do you do? What do you do when you feel like you're stressed? Can you take a deep breath? Take a deep breath in for 5 counts. Take a deep breath out for 5 counts. You might just close your eyes and take a minute or two. Even that has been shown to decrease cortisol levels in your body. Did I tell you something today that you didn't know? You guys are very talkative today. What happened? Did I tell you anything you didn't know? I have some notes here, so I just want to make sure I'm saying all the things I wanted to talk to you about. The reason why this topic was important to me was because it's something that we don't appreciate, that we don't always make an effort at least in my experience with those that I work with, and those, myself included. We often say, oh, I'm stressed out, but you keep going, because that's the sign of true hard work, is you keep pushing through the stress, and you keep working no matter what, because that's what we do. So it's important to me to bring this topic to light, because is that so important? Because you are putting yourself at risk with chronic stress, okay? So, because I've mentioned on the Facebook group that we're all a part of, that I'm doing this live in, that I've been dealing with chronic fatigue, that I've been dealing with really bad memory, brain fog, memory lapse, a lot of things that are related to chronic stress. And I wanted to be vulnerable and tell you this because I am experiencing this firsthand. And you're not alone if you feel like you're overwhelmed and you're stressed. So what's the answer to it? What have you done that helps you feel better when you feel stressed out? Maybe you'll write that in the comments. So for me, when it comes to chronic stress, I certainly do try to reevaluate what's going on in my life. And in fact, I was just having this conversation with a client this morning about reevaluating if everything I do daily is worth my time and worth my effort. And there are some things that I've done this week that probably should have been a no, shouldn't have done it, or shouldn't have said yes to it because it's causing extra stress in my life that I don't necessarily need. It's not going to return on that stress investment. Probably not. So what's your time worth? What's your mental energy worth? Is it worth that stress that it might cause? Because in turn, if you're not getting your chronic stress under control, you know what? Hold on. Is my do not disturb causing me not to see the comments. You're not seeing our comments. Thanks, Melanie. I have it on Do Not Disturb, that's why. I wonder if that's why. I learned something about Facebook Live. Okay. See, y'all, my mind is not working. It's Friday. It is Friday. Now, where can I see the comments now? Okay, if you did comment, can you comment again? Did I keep it at Do Not Disturb all the time? Y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. Yes, I see some comments now. Someone call her or text her. No, I see you now. Sleep. Okay. Oh gosh, guys, I'm sorry for stressing myself out. Okay, cool. I see you now. I do have a lot of catching up to do. Losing weight stresses you out, Casey? If you guys don't know Carla DeSanti and you're here in St. Louis, y'all need to know Carla. She is the woman with the biggest smile and lights up the room. I love Carla. Oh, you like my physiology review, Peg? Man, it was fun reviewing all this stuff because I used to study this when I was in grad school. Okay, I'm glad we can have a discussion now. Gosh damn it, I was sitting here talking for 20 minutes. Oh, the perfectionist in me is like, damn it, Julie, why are you like that? Okay, so tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. Tell me if I told you something that you didn't think of. Tell me if that's something that you can use in your life. Because again, the point of these lives are for me to come on and chat with you for a little while so you can get some information that you can take into your life. Melanie, you and I should talk. I have a pulmonary embolism too. I don't know if you guys know that about me. I had a pulmonary embolism found this time last year and it's still there. I don't know what it's from. Could be from stress, right? Right? Barb says she reminds herself how blessed she is. Yeah. It's always good to remember this. So like, and you can also think that, Casey, you were writing down the comments. You're so sweet. But you can always start to think about, Carla, I'm seeing my second opinion in next month. You can always start to think about like being aware of when your stress is getting out of control or when your stress is causing you physical symptoms. Like, can you actually feel your heart rate race? Can you actually feel your shoulders tense up? Can you actually feel like the stress that you're feeling in your body? Absolutely. So if you're not doing a yoga practice, if you're not doing a mindful type of practice, I will say there's so many apps out there that are really great at meditation. Excuse me, the Apple Fitness Watch that I use, the Apple Plus Fitness, it has amazing 10-minute meditations that I just turn on and listen to while I'm like sitting at my desk. And I try to close my eyes for a minute or two and try to like get my stress levels under control. Because as much as we want to say we're in control of our stress, are you actively doing something to make sure you truly are? Because it's not glorified to be stressed. We're done with that. Like, we're done with glorifying how stressed we are. Like, if somebody comes to me that we're working together as a client with mine and they say they're stressed, that's a serious thing, because I just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff that tells you why chronic stress can be killing you. It can be hurting you. Because of that, if you're not taking your stress under control or managing it somehow, how in the hell do you think your body is ever going to do what you want it to do? And I say that while watching myself say that because a part of me is like, why the hell am I always tired? Why the hell am I always like losing my focus? Why am I having trouble concentrating? And I was reading all of this stuff preparing for this live. No crap, Julie. No wonder. Holly says, yes, she's over being stressed. It's literally killing you. Yes. And so ask yourself, what are your stressors? Is it your job? Is it self-imposed stressors where you're expecting too much out of yourself? Is it something you can control? Sometimes, yes, you can control self-imposed pressure. But you necessarily can't control the people you work with. You can't control the expectations that are laid upon you at your job. You can't control the situations that you might be in, but you can always control the way you respond to them. Like Barb said that she's always going to remind herself how blessed she is. You have a roof over your head, you have food on your table, you have a family that loves you, you have a life that you want to be in. So what are we really stressed about that is truly an indicative reason to be stressed? Like a real reason to be stressed. Okay, if you lost your job, yeah, that's a reason to be stressed. If you have a parent that may be ill and maybe not doing so well, yeah, that's stress. You can't avoid that. Like we are all in it together. We all have those stress. So then, if you have somebody that's in your life that is really stressed out about something, how could you make their stress even better? Like, let's not just forget about to take care of ourselves, because we as women often don't take care of ourselves, right? We don't take care of ourselves first. Self-imposed, Brandy? Because we don't put ourselves first, we often are last or somewhat last, and the stress starts to compound, and then you say, oh crap, then something traumatic might happen and you might get diagnosed with blood pressure or high blood pressure or something like that, right? Becky's a ruminator. So am I. Even when I logically recognize that I'm stressed over things I can't control, I rationalize. I know rationally that it's silly. I get stuck in a cycle of dwelling on the negative and stress and overthinking. Absolutely. Who else can relate to that? Gosh, who else can relate to that chronic rumination of like thinking about something that didn't go your way or thinking about something that you didn't do exactly right? And then you think and think and think and think and think. And what do you think that's doing to your body? It is reinforcing those neural connections that you crave that stress. Sometimes people thrive on that stress, right? Classify what is in your control, what you can influence, what is not in control, helps to understand how you respond or act. Yeah. If you respond to it, or if you can control it, then surely you can control the way you respond to it. But if you can't control it, you have to just be okay with what it is. I let people get to me and upset and obsess about yeah, absolutely. That ever-going cycle of, overthinking. Yeah, physically ill when you mess something up. Yeah. And Casey, you know what that is? So that's your secondary nervous system. That's your enteric nervous system talking to you. That is your brain controlling your gut saying, damn it, I feel so mad that I messed up, and you feel it in your gut. Another example, some of you know this about me. When I was a Les Mills trainer, I got fired in a really shitty way, and it was devastating to me. It was like I lost something truly my identity. I couldn't eat for 2 days. And I told my therapist about it, and she's like, no shit, because your nervous system was fried from the amount of stress that you went through because it was a traumatic event. I'm like, I couldn't eat. I'm like, this is not like me. I'm never that person that loses my appetite over something, but that did. Okay. What about responding to certain emotional things or certain stressful things? Let's talk about how stress can certainly inhibit intentional weight loss. So if you are looking to lose weight and you are that person that is chronically stressed, likely you are an emotional eater where you are experiencing some kind of mental stress or mental emotion that you can't handle, and so you crave comfort food. Why do we call it comfort food? We call it comfort food because your body is craving high calories or food that is dense in calories and that are highly palatable, because that's going to activate your dopamine system in your brain, that axis that will create pleasure. That is your dopamine pathway. And foods like that will hit those pathways. Absolutely hit those pathways. And unfortunately, they're not vegetables. They're not lean protein. It's food that tastes good that isn't necessarily the most nutritious. So if you are that chronic stress eater, you're going to reach for ice cream, and you're probably not going to know why. So if you are aware of it, then what can you do? You're aware of it, then you might go, okay, before I walk into the kitchen, before I walk in and go, do I want to eat this ice cream? What am I actually looking for? Am I looking for comfort to soothe away some emotions that I'm feeling? And what might be a better way to do that? What is a better way to do that? I'm sure you felt this, so hands up if you felt this. What have you felt when you have this emotional trigger and you want to soothe it with food? How do you talk yourself out of it? Chocolate chips, ice cream at 3 a.m. That's you. That's why you can't sleep. You talk yourself out of it. Is it hard to talk yourself out of it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she hugs her dog. Mel hugs her dog. Get a hug from a loved one. You know what I do? Or I try to. I try to talk about it. I'm like, hey, Dave, gotta talk to you. Can I tell you something? Like, I'm really stressed right now. Or I'm really upset about this. I find that if I talk about it to somebody, that usually helps. Puppy snuggles are the best. What else? Did you know that chronic stress can actually tell your fat stores not to, or your body not to utilize fat stores? So like if you are chronically stressed and you're trying to lose weight and it's not happening, it could be that you are so stressed because your body is sending signals to your fat stores to not use fat stores, right? Unfortunately, this is all that's happening. So my biggest point to you today is, number one, identify what's stress in your life. What is your biggest stress in your life? How can you manage it? And have you committed to managing it? It's terrible news. I'm stressed now. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's all terrible news that I've told you all this shit that your body does with your stress response. But now that you know that all this stuff could be going on in your body, shouldn't be stressing you out. But just know that it is totally manageable. That it is truly exercise, meditation, getting out in nature, finding something that really does suit you, that makes you happy, can counteract all of this chronic stress that you may be having. And sometimes, will chronic stress ever go away? Yes, chronic stress can go away. The effects of chronic stress can and will go away if you find a way to manage it in a case-by-case basis. So if you are fully aware of what is stressing you out, and if your mindset is, okay, I can handle what I can control, and I will let go of what I can't control, and everything will be fine. Is it true that everything is always fine? For the most part, right? Things always end up being fine. Oftentimes, us as women tend to be this catastrophizer type of mental gymnastics where you think about all of the worst case scenarios and then you ruminate and then you say, oh my God, I'm going to stress myself to an early grave. Yeah, Holly, you need to quit your job, sell your kids, and go move to Hawaii. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So, manage your stress, let go of things that you can't control, be in response of what you can control. Yeah, have a plan. Awesome, Lisa. Yeah, have a plan. And it's wonderful because when I posted that last week about, or whenever it was, when I posted about me being chronically fatigued and overwhelmed, and you all know that I started my own private practice a couple of months ago. No shit, I'm feeling this way because the stress of owning a business, myself, no one else, just me, owning a business is stressful and it's a new venture for me. So of course I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and of course I'm feeling chronically fatigued. Well, no shit. So what's your plan? What's your plan for your chronic stress? Put it in the comments. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, one more thing. Oh shoot, one more thing. So, chronically dieting. Oh, here's my kid. You want to say hi to my kid again? You want to say hi? Chronically dieting. Did you know chronically dieting and under eating? This is for all my people that are eating 1,200 calories a day. Chronically dieting, those people that undereat consistently, that have affected their metabolism. And if you've downloaded my midlife metabolism guide, this will explain it. The more you chronically diet, the more your stress hormones stay elevated throughout and then it influences your thyroid hormone. Your thyroid hormone is responsible for your metabolic rates. And the more that you influence your thyroid hormone, the more that you influence decreasing your metabolism, and of course, you know it goes from there. Excessive weight gain, resistance to weight loss, and all of those things. So there's another reason why, of course, we want to manage our stress. Becky's going to take a vacation in June to St. Louis. Yes, she is. She's coming to see me in St. Louis in June. Thanks, Barb. So, some takeaways in the comments, guys. Take your takeaways. Let me know what you do to manage your chronic stress so everybody can see as we're going to finish this discussion. I've got 12 of you watching right now. Can we get 12 answers to say what you're going to do to manage your chronic stress? That way, people reading it can see others that are going to respond to say what they're going to do, and hopefully you can help others with these tips. Here's what I'm going to do. Every time I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to take just 2 minutes just to breathe. What's my business all about? So my business is private practice with nutrition and fitness. So private coaching for people that want to have fitness goals when it comes to around their nutrition and fitness. I am doing lots of other things. I'm thankful that you asked that, Lisa, because then I can have a chance to kind of talk about some of the other things that I'm doing. I posted in the group, you guys have exclusive access to my 90-day challenge that we kind of conceptualize on a couple other lives. Brady's going to breathe and meditate, where we conceptualize this idea of taking you out of the group fitness studio, which a lot of you do body pump, a lot of you do strength training in the group fitness studio. There's nothing wrong with that, but the weight room floor is just as effective to you building your strength goals. And strength training in midlife is necessary. So getting in the weight room is something that I am a big fan of. And if you're not doing it, sign up for my 90-day challenge, because it is a quick and way to get confidence in the weight room so you can understand what the machines do. You will have a completely laid out plan where you go in and you do it based on the videos that I'll provide you. And it's going to be quick, it's going to be effective, and it's going to build your confidence in the weight room floor. If that's something that you're interested in, please do message me. I'll get you the link to sign up. That has been live since last night. I've had a few folks sign up. And of course, more the merrier, because it is all about a community and doing it together as a team where we can ask questions, share our wins, and build each other up. So I would love to see some more folks come into the challenge, because that will start on April 1st. Some other things that I'm doing, I am developing a signature program where I tackle a lot of things that women in midlife are dealing with. So when it comes to finding our bodies where we feel comfortable, so there is something called your set point theory, where your body is set to be a certain size. Whether or not you're at your set point is a different story. So this program is designed to help you find that set point. And then it's also designed to tackle some issues that we all as women face: body acceptance, tying our worthiness to the scale, food freedom, where we don't no longer attach morality to food. So it's going to be this 12-week program that I'm conceptualizing, where a lot of it is self-driven work, where I send you videos and worksheets to do, but it's also some hybrid one-on-one coaching where you and I would work together. That's coming. But then in the meantime, I'm working with clients one-on-one. So I've got a couple clients on here right now that can attest to what we do. But we meet weekly and we talk about our goals. We have lots of really great conversations. In fact, I had a really great conversation with someone yesterday. Oh my gosh, we had and it inspired the reel that I posted yesterday about body acceptance and tying your worthiness to the scale, because she was really struggling. And I hope that some of the advice and some of the feedback and some of the perspective shifts that I shared with her helped her really, truly untangle that desperate feeling of trying to be a certain person because somebody expects her to be that way. So that's what I do. If you're ever interested in that type of thing, if that sounds intriguing to you, I would love to talk with you one-on-one about how I can offer you some services like that. But yeah, I really appreciate you all tuning into this. I know now not to put myself on Do Not Disturb. I put myself on Do Not Disturb because I don't want my mom to call, or my husband would text me or whatever, but now I can see the comments. So let's see. Nancy's retiring in June. That's exciting. One stress is going to go away, but you'll find others to replace it. Lisa does yoga and meditation. Lisa coming out to Body Flow for sure. Lisa's interested in, okay, I'll send you some information. Talking the problem out. Holly started asking more of her family at home. Awesome. So yeah, delegating, getting things off your plate that aren't worth your time, but you still have to get them done. Delegating for sure. You're welcome, Brady. Yes, in the 90-day challenge, everybody's going to be doing the same workout. Body acceptance is so hard, Anne, absolutely. And that's why I preach it, because am I a pro at it? No. I still have issues with myself. I'm about to go on vacation. I have to wear a bathing suit every single day. You think I'm going to want to do that? But I still am. And I'm going to show myself off because you know what? My kids are watching. I'm not going to say how much I wish my tummy was smaller or my butt was smaller because my kids are watching. Yeah. Melanie's looking for a new job. Job's going to be killer and you always have to take it home. Yeah. Yeah. What other comments do you guys have? Since now I can see them. Next week I'm going to be in Mexico. I probably won't do a Facebook Live. Oh, Holly. We'll talk about that. So yeah, it's hard. Self-consciousness when you're at the gym. So not only am I asking you to get out of your comfort zone to go to a gym and work out on the weight room floor where there's lots of people around you, and if you don't know what you're doing, that can be a huge barrier and huge obstacle to not want to go into the gym. Absolutely. And then put on top of it, there's mirrors everywhere. You don't want to feel self-conscious about your body. It's hard, for sure. But you went. That's right. She did go, right, Anne? She went. I won't do lunges. Well, maybe we should do lunges in the weight room, Anne. Happy Friday, guys. I hope that you're going to do something fun this weekend. Spring break is starting here in St. Louis. My kids are on spring break now. What are you guys doing fun this weekend? That's so funny. Anyways. Anne's gonna do lunges after RPM with Becky. Yeah, Becky, make her accountable. Make her accountable, right? What's up, Beth? You're just tuning in a little late. We were almost done with this conversation. COVID. Oh, I'm sorry, Mel. That sucks. That totally sucks. So. Becky, I love it. Becky, that's so awesome. Make her accountable. If you're interested in that weight room challenge, check out my post in the group. Volleyball with your youngest, last turning before state. Okay, good luck to her. Cool. Packing for Cancun. I leave for Cancun on Tuesday morning with my family and my mom and my stepdad. It's going to be fun. So expect to see some content with palm trees. I might go live. We'll see. The next discussion that's what I was going to say. The next discussion that we're going to have is about supplements. So start to get your brain going about supplements. I get lots of questions about supplements all the time. And I have lots of opinions about supplements. So if you have questions about supplements, please maybe just post them in the group right now. If you do use supplements, post those in the group too, so we can kind of chat about those. Because I know supplements can be really confusing. There's tons of them out there. Which ones do you choose? Which ones are important? How much do you get? All of those things. It's definitely a hard one. So that's what we'll do next. And then there's a couple other topics that I'm interested in discussing with you guys. If there's other things that you need or want us to talk about, feel free. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anybody feeling stressed? You're going to. Okay. You're very stressed. Very stressed, Beth. When I post this again, it's Friday. I will, Beth, go ahead and watch it from the beginning and never mind me bullying the audience about not having comments. Oh man. Supplements will be a good one for sure. It's a great topic that there's lots of confusion on, and there's lots of debate to be had, because there are some people that think supplements are never needed, and there are some people that think supplements are the best, and I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to supplement recommendations. I take some, but we'll talk about that next time. Probably not next week. I don't want to commit to doing it while I'm on vacation, for sure. Unless you want me to. Maybe I'll go live there. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. Because I'll be honest with you, the last time I went to Cancun, I went last year, and by the end of the vacation, I was bored. I was like, I'm so bored. You do want to know about supplements? What's the difference between supplements and vitamins? Like vitamin supplements. So vitamins are things that your body has a need for. So, and there is a recommendation of how much you should get. Supplements are things that have correlation to a certain effect, and there has not been an established like RDA, recommended daily allowance. And so they don't necessarily do the things that the supplements claim. But there are some things that do. So we'll talk about that. Protein and BCAAs. Yeah, so those. And Beth, go ahead and check out that one video I talked about prioritizing protein. We talked about protein supplements and BCAAs and whether or not those are worth it. I can tag you in that video, Beth, for sure. It's 3:45 here in St. Louis, so I'm gonna hop off here, and I'm going to go hop on my bike and do some spinning in my basement. Although I should probably go outside, guys. Look at it outside. Let me flip. Can I flip it? There's my neighbor's house. The grass is somewhat green, right? My neighbors mowed the grass the other day. They mowed it today too. I'm like, really? Really? Why? We haven't done any of it yet. Okay. That's all I got, guys. Happy Friday. I hope you enjoyed this. We will chat soon, and I will post probably the next schedule for the next one. It's 20 degrees in Iowa. I'm sorry, Holly. It's like 44. So it's not super warm right outside, but it's sunshine. Yeah, we don't have any snow either. So, all right, y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will chat soon. Bye.